What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. And today's episode isn't going to be too long, but as you guys can see in the title, today I will be talking about Ryan Coogler's new film, Sinners. And don't worry, I'm not going to have no spoilers or anything like that. I'm going to try to be as, non spoiler as I can be. But basically, today's episode is all about urging everybody to please go see Sinners. Mm. Okay, so if you guys seen earlier episodes of my podcast, then you know that Sinners was a movie that was, a movie that I was anticipating. It wasn't on my top 10 most anticipated films of the year, but it was definitely up there. And of course, I've said that Ryan Coogler is like one of my favorite directors. He's one of the people that inspire me. And, for a long time, I was saying that it was like him and Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele was always my favorite director, but Ryan Coogler, pretty much was like a close second for me because of films like Fruitvale Station, the Black Panther movies, which, the first Black Panther really got me into Marvel. Like, I really didn't care about the MCU like that, besides Spider-Man and Hulk or whatever. I didn't care about the MCU until I seen, the first Black Panther. So, he put me on to that. Then you got the Creed films, which he only directed the first one, but he still served as a writer producer for the second and third movie. So basically, Ryan Coogler has always been a great director. So because of that, and also Michael B. Jordan being one of my favorite actors of this generation, it felt like a no-brainer that I was gonna go see that movie, especially since Ryan Coogler was dipping his, feet into horror, which horror is like tied with my favorite genre with comedy. So like, everything was basically going good for it. The only reason that it didn't crack my top 10 most anticipated was because, it was a period piece movie, which I'm not the biggest fan of period pieces. Or I shouldn't say that I'm not the biggest fan because I don't want it to come off like I don't like period piece movies. But basically, like, it was a period piece film, but for the most part, I really don't rush out to see period piece movies. But because there was that horror element and because it was by a director that I love a lot of his work, I was like, let me go see this. And when I tell y'all that I knew I was going to like the film, I didn't know I was gonna love it nowhere close near as much as I do. Like, I genuinely love this movie, and I've already seen it twice. I saw it on opening day. I saw it like again the very next day afterwards. Like, there's not really many movies to where once I finish watching it, I'm like, yo, I need to see this shit again. It was such an amazing movie, and I'm trying to encourage everybody. I even texted my aunt, I texted my mom, I called my brother. Like, I was telling everybody, first off, if you're black, I feel like you need to see this movie because there's a lot of conversation in this movie that has to do with black culture, black music, how music and other parts of our culture connects us from like the present, past, and future. Like, there's just a lot of layers in this movie. That's the one thing that I loved about this movie so much. And like I said, I'm not gonna you know go too deep into detail because I don't want to spoil anything. But one of the things that I love about the movie is like there is a lot of layers to it. And when I say layers, I mean like different meanings and stuff like that in the movie. Like, there's obviously the overall meaning of the movie, but in like little ways you can pick apart like other little details that even if Ryan Coogler didn't intend on it, which I'm pretty sure he did intend, all those details, but even if he didn't intend on it, there's still a lot that you can pull apart, with all the details that was put into this movie. It definitely is a movie to where like, and this is one thing for me because I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love, a lot of the movies that's been coming out lately, with the messages and stuff like that, sometimes I do feel like there's movies out there where it's like they focus so much on the message that they forget to make the movie actually entertaining. It's like it's beating you with the message, but like the entertainment isn't there. And with this movie, it is equally entertaining and meaningful. That's what I love about this movie so much. Like I said, it is so layered with messages and history and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's also entertaining as hell. That's one thing that I loved about the movie. The other thing is the characters, bro. The characters. One thing, and like I said, my two favorites has always been Jordan Peele and Ryan Coogler. I feel like with Jordan Peele, I like his movies, and not to say that he doesn't have the appeal that Ryan Coogler has. I'll get into that. But like with Jordan Peele, the thing that I love the most about his movies is the twists and the messages of his movie. Now, just like I said with Sinners, his movies are also very entertaining, so there's still that aspect of it. But the messages and like the twists and like the ideas that the abstract ideas and thoughts that you can see, fleshed out in his movies. That's the one thing I love about Jordan Peele. But with Ryan Coogler, and not to say that Ryan Coogler doesn't do what I said about I feel like they both do, what I'm about to say about the other, but with Ryan Coogler, I feel like his biggest strength with all his movies is character. Like when I say that the characters in this movie was so amazing, let me put into perspective. I'm someone where comedy and horror are my two favorite genres, like absolute two favorite genres. I would never put any other genre over them. I'm not even that big of a drama person. I don't typically like too many drama movies, but the characters and their backstories and everything that Ryan Coogler establishes before the vampire stuff even starts happening, that was so good that I honestly did not even care if the horror elements came in. Like if we lived in a different reality where the movie was mismarketed and they only used the vampire stuff for the trailer and the movie was just simply everything that they set up like in the first hour, bruh, I would have been just fine. That's how good this movie fucking was. It made me not even care if the horror elements even came in. For a big horror fan like me, do you know how crazy of a thought that is? Like, that is a crazy thing for me to say, but like, that's how much I love these characters. The Smokestack brothers, their girlfriends, respectively, their cousin Preacher Boy. Like, there's like every character in this movie, and this also goes to the acting. The actors in this movie, everybody played their part perfectly. I really don't have no gripes as far as acting. The characters, like these are characters that I instantly fell in love with. Like the Smokestack twins were amazing. Um the Preacher Boy, I gotta look up the actor that plays Preacher Boy. Let me look him up. This movie is going so crazy right now. Like if you just even type in sin, it pops up on um okay, obviously on Google is gonna say like the main character's name. The main character's name is Sammy, but they call him Preacher Boy in the movie. He's played by Miles Canton and or Catton, yeah, Miles Catton, and this is his first ever acting role. First ever acting role, and he steals the show in so many scenes. The I can't go into spoilers, but if you know the sequence of him playing music, that's all I'm gonna say. There's a sequence in the movie where he plays music and he learned how to play the guitar. He learned how to play yeah, I think someone said in one of the reviews that he learned how to play the guitar in order to prepare for this role. So not only was this his first time acting, but this was like his first time playing an instrument in a movie, and like he steals the show. He steals everybody in this movie steals the show. I know obviously people are gonna focus on Michael B. Jordan, especially since he's playing twin brothers with wildly different personalities, but like everybody everybody deserves the credit. Um, Direction wise, Ryan Coogler, he just shows, you know, he shows improvement in this movie. And not to say that he doesn't show improvement in his other movies. You know, I feel like he's always been improving steadily with each movie, but like As I was watching the movie, I was thinking of the different elements of all his films that, basically brought him into making what I would consider his masterpiece. For a long time, Fruitvale Station was my favorite movie from him, and it's in, my top 15 of my favorite movies of all time. But like how he's able to tell these character driven stories in a 24-hour period like he did with Fruitvale Station was done in this movie. How he was able to use, characters and like, not like even the bad characters, even the evil characters have layers to them, kind of like what he did with the Black Panther movies. Like they're evil and they're doing bad things, but there's still a view of understanding, if you guys can get what I'm saying. If you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm getting at. Um even with even with movies like Creed, like I remember I seen on Twitter people were saying like it's interesting how the smokestack twins, when they're with their respective, girlfriends, they're able to show vulnerability and like, let down their guard, like the masculinity that they would have against other people. They're able to let down their guard, which I could see elements of Creed, from there into this movie. So like when you're a fan of his movies, you can see what he pulled from each of his previous works and perfected and like, really brought together with this movie. So that's another thing. The score, music. I'm a big music person. I am a very big music person. Y'all know that. So to see how music and the score was implemented into this movie, like I said, I'm not gonna spoil the sequence, but there's like one musical sequence, which the movie's not a musical, but it very much feels musical adjacent because it's not like the characters are like breaking out in song and dance like that, out of nowhere. But it's like if they're performing music in the context of the juke joint, like the story. So like it's not a musical, but it's musical adjacent, and like the music that's performed is like amazing. And then even the score, and there's like little details with the score, like there's characters where they might do an action and it lines up on beat with the score. Like this movie is so amazing. um and what else do I want to give credit to? I also want to give credit to yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I can say without getting too deep into everything. Like I said, I want to keep this spoiler free. I don't want to. This episode is really just to encourage y'all to go check out this movie because I'm not even gonna lie. I knew I was gonna like this movie, but I didn't think I was gonna love it, like love it as much as I do. And like I'm encouraging people to go see it. I know by the time I drop this episode, it's already gonna be out. Like I'm gonna drop this on the Tuesday, like I always usually do. But like even though opening weekend isn't here anymore, and I know a lot of people like to put importance on opening weekends, look, if you're watching this episode, if you've already seen it, if you are curious about it, even if horror isn't really your thing, because I feel like even people that's not into horror movies can watch this. I encourage you to go see this movie. It is literally my favorite movie of the year. And I'm not even gonna lie, this might spoil my top film ranking that I usually do at the end of the year. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose. I don't know why. It's so itchy, but um off topic. But yo, sorry if I'm spoiling my top films of the year list that I always do at the end of every year, but like Sinners is number one, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I don't think it's gonna get topped. I'm gonna be for real. I don't think Sinners is going to get topped. This movie was everything I wanted it to be. Now, is it my favorite film of all time? No, but it is definitely up there. It is definitely up there. And this movie definitely made me start to question, damn, Is Ryan Coogler my favorite director of all time? Because he hasn't ever made a bad movie. And not to say that Jordan Peele has ever made a bad movie either. I love both their movies. Like, I loved every single one of their outings, but Ryan Coogler offered more. And I mean, he's doing his thing. Don't nothing taken away from Jordan Peele. Love Jordan Peele. But like, this movie really seriously made me start to question, like, maybe Ryan Coogler might be my favorite director of all time. Because, like, yo, and also, I do want to stress, see this movie in theaters. I know that people will, of course, bootleg and stuff like that, but no, Ryan Coogler made this movie specifically to be shown in theaters. And I know a lot of filmmakers say that, but like he actually did a whole video breaking down like, different type of film strips that they used to film this movie, how, the aspect ratios and stuff like that. Like he broke down like aspect ratios and IMAX and stuff like that to, a lot of people that don't really know about that stuff. And he was trying to encourage people, go see this movie on the biggest screen possible because the cinematography is crazy. And unfortunately for me, there is no IMAX theaters that's around me. Like I would have to go to Philly for that, but I don't go to Philly to watch movies and stuff. So, you know, there's no theater around me that has IMAX. So I really wish I could have seen it in IMAX, but like he stresses people, like he is telling people, go see this movie in IMAX. And that's the other thing I'm going to say. Like, even if you don't see it in IMAX, I would say just go see this movie in theaters. It is definitely, truly a theater experience. Um, like when I went to the theater, pretty much packed out, like pretty much packed out. Everybody was in there screaming, laughing, feeling the emotions during the sad scenes. Like this movie was a full on experience. And I feel like the only way that you can truly appreciate that, you're not going to truly appreciate this movie with a bootleg. I know certain people that will just bootleg this movie. I'm encouraging you, if you're watching this episode, watch it in theaters. The people that I know, I'm over here shaking, but the people that I know that will most likely try to bootleg this, you're not going to get a full experience from that. You need to go to the theater, and that's why I'm staring directly. You need to go to the theater. This movie is an experience that was made for theaters. There's no other way, in my opinion, to watch this. There's just no other way. I mean, of course, when it gets to home media and 4K versions come out, then I guess that's the second best thing. But while it is in theaters, you need to go see this in the theater. This is truly a theater experience. Even if you go on a discount day, which I originally was planning on doing it, but it was so like it was getting so much good reviews that I was like, screw the discount day. I paid for opening day price. So, you know, even if you go on a discount day, which by the time I drop this episode, it will be discount day. So you still got time to go see it after you see this episode of my podcast. But like, just go to the theater and see this movie. It is truly a theater experience. Not only that, but everybody that keeps hooting and hollering talking about some, oh, there's no original movies in theaters anymore. It's just sequels, reboots, and stuff. Look, I really do not believe that. I mean, I'll give y'all this. Sequels and reboots gets more highlighted. They tend to make more money and they tend to be, pushed advertising wise. So I will give y'all that. But for people saying that there's no more original movies coming out in theaters anymore, that is a very ridiculous thing for people to say, especially for someone like me that goes to the theater regularly. Like I try to go to the theater every single week, whether it's a discount day or opening day or something like that. I typically go discount days and mystery movies, but like because I go to the theater so much, I can sit there and argue that there is original movies being made all the time. It's just you guys are not showing up. And for a movie like Sinners, this is like one of the few original movies that I've seen get the same type of push that a reboot or a sequel would usually get. So When I say that this was an original movie that was this damn amazing, I need everybody to go out and support this. Because if you're one of those people complaining about original movies not coming to theaters, whether I believe that or not, if you're one of those people, then you need to go see Sinners. You need to go see Sinners. If you're one of those people, you need to go see this movie. Like, if I'm gonna do a spoiler discussion for this movie, I will save that for my end of the year list. I will save that for my end of the year list. But as of right now, until I do my end of the year list, or even when I do, because once this movie comes out on Blu-ray, I'm buying it. So I guess when I do my Blu-ray update and the movie is in that Blu-ray update, then I guess I will go deeper into like spoilers and stuff like that. But like this video, this episode is just to encourage y'all. Go see Sinners. Go, please go see this movie, whether you're by yourself, with a friend, whatever. Just go support this movie. I guarantee you that you will have a good time. I've barely seen any bad reviews for the movie. So just go out, see the movie, have a good time, support original films, support Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and all the people behind this film that made this movie possible. And people like me who's in the filmmaking space, or even if you're not a filmmaker, just if you're into art, go check this movie out, because this movie got me inspired, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have a bunch of people inspired once they walk out of that theater. But yeah, man, like I said, I ain't trying to make this episode too long. I did have other things that I wanted to talk about, but like, when a movie is this good, you just got to talk about it. Forget all the other stuff. You just got to talk about this. So, yeah, man. If you have seen Sinners, let me know down below what you think about it. Um, with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. Peace.